Yeah, good morning, everyone. So, yesterday we learned about the JavaScript OOP concepts. So, we learned about modules, classes, and how do we deal with class related different members. We discussed about inheritance and polymorphism, like concepts which are available in JavaScript. Because all features of OOP are not supported here. Whatever the basic features are there, we discussed. Next, another thing you need to know about JavaScript events. Already we learned about different types of events. All at one place, some important list we will see today. Generally, what is event, how you define event is technically event is a message sent by sender to its subscriber in order to notify the change. Event is a message sent by sender to its subscriber in order to notify change. Actually, it follows a software design pattern called observer. It follows a software design pattern called observer. Actually, observer is a communication pattern. Observer is a communication pattern. It is a communication pattern. So, event is message sent by sender to its subscriber. So, how this works is already we are using events on click on change. So, here how the event works is generally we write a function, some insert click, and this function on click of button we have to access insert click. Here we have this. So generally this insert click, it is called, that function is called subscriber, and this is called sender. We have a sender and subscriber. So what is the relation is subscriber contains actions to perform. So what actions to perform, that is defined by subscriber. When they need to perform, that is defined by sender. What are the actions to perform? That is the function. When this function will work, when user clicks the button. So generally what happens is the sender is going to, this sender is going to send a message to subscriber. So when button click happened, a notification is sent to that function, and function will perform the functionality. So it is a function pointer mechanism. Function pointer mechanism is when button is clicked, it will verify where this function exists and it will execute that function. That is why the definition is event is a message sent by sender. That means this is the sender. Sender will send a message to the subscriber. Subscriber is the function. And subscriber gets notified that somebody clicked the button. And then this functionality will happen. So it is a message sent by sender to its subscriber to notify the change. That is basic. Actually, what is subscriber? Subscriber defines actions to perform. And sender triggers the notification. Sender triggers the notification and subscriber defines the actions. Subscriber is going to define actions. So we are sending a notification and it will perform. That is the mechanism actually. And generally JavaScript events have two default arguments. Generally event have two default arguments. One is this, another one is event. In JavaScript we have two default arguments. One is this and another one is event. What is this concept is, for example, we are writing a button. In this button, on click, we have a insert click. In this insert click, we can pass two arguments, this and event. These are default arguments. And they are reserved names. One name is this, another name is event. They are reserved words. Order your wish. You can pass only this, or you can pass event, or you can pass this and event and this, anything. But what is the specialty of these two arguments is, one argument, this is going to send information about current element. Who is current element? Current element is button. Button related information is sent by this. Button related information means what? Button ID, button name, button class name, button width, height. If it is image SRC, image width, height, like that. For which element you are writing the event, that element related details we can send by using an argument called this. So event will send information about current event. What is the current event? On click. What might be the information about on click? Information about on click means it includes where you clicked, how you click. That means in x-axis which position you click, y-axis which position you click, whether you clicked with a control key, whether you clicked with a alt key, whether you clicked with a shift key, it is going to verify combinations. That information we can send by using on click, by using which one? Event. So what is the purpose of these two arguments? This sends information and event sends information about current event, which includes X, client X, client Y, means X axis, Y axis position, shift key, control key, alt key, like this. These are all the information. So object related details, event related details. We can send that. So let's see one example here. So how this event works? Yeah, I will keep a simple page. In that we have a button, and this button have an ID, btn insert, value as insert, class as btn primary something, and it is insert. So for this we are writing on click. We have the option called insert click. Now we will keep here a script and a function insert click. Now into that insert click we are sending this. This is a keyword, and whatever information it sends we have to collect and store in a reference. I will give some obj, that is the reference. Now what obj contains? Information about the button. We can see that here, document.write. I will say here we want to print button details, like button that is obj. Now we can send information about the button, and when I click on this insert, it will get that information and show. So object related details we can send by using this. By using this we can send. So I will use here another event argument, E. This sends information about current event. You can send both or any one, your wish, but this is actually event. Event is a keyword. That information we will collect in a reference here, E. E gets event related details. So now what we have to do, suppose I will say X position. We can get that E dot client X. We want to know alt key or CTRL key, whether it is used or not. E dot CTRL key. Now you can see when I click, it gets the position of X axis. And control key is not used. I will do one thing. I will use control key and click. And it says control is true. I clicked in the beginning. It shows clicked at 9. I click at the end of the button. It says clicked at 56. I am clicking with control key. Control key is true. This is actually event related option. Why we need this? Because many times what we do, we will say that please use a control and click, then it will open separate. If you click, it will open there only. Use control click, it will open separate. Like that we give the conditions. For example, you see, so here we are having some http://www.amazon.in. It's a website address. When I move the mouse on it, so here, follow the control. Various combinations. For that, how to know which combination they use? For that, we need event arguments. So every event have two default arguments. What are those two default arguments? This and event. Object related information, event related information. So this is one example. We can send those details. But remember, you can also send custom arguments. You can also send custom arguments. You can also send custom arguments using event. Custom arguments means our own arguments we can send. And custom argument can be any type. Any type means, so it can be primitive, or it can be non-primitive, or it can be a function. So you can send any type. So default arguments are there, custom arguments are there. We can send our own arguments. What is the purpose? You see, instead of this button details, you can send along with it. Along with the default arguments, you can send custom arguments. Separately also you can send. See, after this event, I am passing object, or I am passing array, or I am passing a string, your wish. Anywhere you can pass, first, last, in the middle. But you know, where you pass, there you have to collect in the same. Now here I am using object. Object have name, some TV. Object have price, something like this. Now here in the event, you need one more argument, parameter, some product. Now product is what type? Object type. So into that we can pass suppose name. So product dot name, and we have price. So we have like product dot price, and you can see it is going to access custom arguments also. So two default arguments will be there. One custom argument will be, not one, any number of custom arguments you can pass. Any number of custom arguments, any type of arguments, rest arguments, spread arguments, everything. We learned rest parameters, spread parameters, everything is supported here, just like ordinary function. But default arguments are important. Arguments we have another argument. Why we send them? Suppose we have a button, on click is equal to handle click. We can send one object and we can send one collection. Like this we can do. So first parameter is object, second parameter is a array. That's just syntax. Right. So this is advantage. Now see here, I will copy this example. This example contains all this information. Now the doubt is why we need such arguments to pass. We can handle lengthy functionality easily. For example, you see, suppose we have some buttons. Let's say we have 3 buttons. We have insert, and we have update, and we have delete. For 3 buttons, we have to write 3 functionalities. Insert should do insert operation, update should do update. Instead of that, we can write only one which can work for all 3. That's good. Instead of writing 3 different functions, one function can work for all 3. So we write a function called database. This function should work for all 3. Then on click database. Here also on click database. Here also on click database. Then all will do same work. If you are pointing same function, then all will do same work. How they will do different works? Then what we can do is, here every button can have some value. The value of this button is insert. The value of button is update. The value of this button is delete. And we can send that by using this. What this will send? Event related details. Which details? All details. If you want, you can send any specific. Currently it is sending all details. If you want, you can send any specific, like dot value. It is all will come. Value means we will here, and everyone have to send its value. So its value we are using. Here also is what right updated, and like we have another case. What it is? Delete. So we have document dot write record deleted, and we will put a break. So that is simple. Instead of writing three different functions, we can write only one function, work for three different objects. How it is possible? By sending the information about that button, right? Arguments, we can use event arguments. Now see, I said delete, so all should point now. So we are using refresh, yeah, and I am clicking on delete. What is problem? On click, here we have to write on click. Okay, when I click on delete, it should say record deleted. I say update updated, and insert inserted. So we have only one function working for all three. You may ask, like, that is the advantage of these event arguments. So we have event arguments. This is an example for that event arguments. So in JavaScript, event arguments, we have default arguments, we have custom. Default arguments, this and event. Custom argument, you can send any type. Any custom argument only you can send, or only default arguments you can send, or both you can send depending on the requirement, right? Now here, one more thing you should know is, here the events, when you define, every event comprises of following. Actually, we have event and event handler and event listener. We have event handler and event listener. 3 points are there. Generally, what is that actual point is, suppose I say on click is equal to insert click. We are writing like this. This is called event handler. Event handler. And only on click, this is called event. That means we have a event and event handler. Event means when the action is performed. When user on click, on change, these are what? Events. On click, which function will be performed? That is handler. Handler tells on click which function. Just like if I ask what is your email ID and what is your email address, both are different. Do you know both are different? Email ID is different, email address is different. For example, you are using Gmail, you want to log in into Gmail, then you just use ID. You don't need to write @gmail.com. Why? It is already in Gmail, then you have to just use only ID. Suppose you are using some Facebook or somebody where you have to log in with your Gmail, then only ID is not enough. You have to enter your address. So event and event handler. Event means on click is event. On click, which functionality it will perform? That is what event handler. So every event has a event and a event handler. Handler means the, remember, generally, if any element, if element is dynamically created, dynamically created, then we have to configure using event listener. We have configured the element is dynamically created. We already saw dynamically creating elements. How to create a element dynamically, I told you. While working with arrays and all, we done. So if element is dynamically created, how do you write event for it? That is the important point. For example, see, suppose I want to create a button. So I will add a new file, events. And here I have to create a button. Body on load, body load. We will write as div. Div have an ID container. And into that, yeah, we will put a script function body load. On body load, we have to create a button and add to container. How to create a button? Where some button is equal to dot create element which button. So button will have some value. Button is a HTML5 button. HTML button in HTML I will keep as some insert. Okay. And add button into container append child. Which one? Button. So we created a button and added the button dynamically into the page. Here we need to add. So this is the append child and button, and we want to add into container. So what is the point here? On load, refresh, some problem. Event is not there. Append child cannot read. Which one? Dot ID. ID. I given a class. We have to give an ID. No button is there. Now what should happen when I click on this insert? Some functionality should happen. Then where do you write? There is no button tag at all. add event listener uses a function. This function is expecting the type. You see, it is expecting the type and the listener. Add event listener is expecting the type and the listener. What is the type? So listener is nothing but event listener object, right? What is the listener here? What is the type and what is the listener? Generally, how you configure this? That means the type is nothing but you have to define what is the functionality to be configured. You see, this is a function. It is a string. Suppose what is the functionality to define for this? Suppose I am giving on click. On click, what functionality to perform? You have to define the functionality, right? That means we need to add the functionality for that. So here there is another technique. This event listener, if you want to know what it is type, you see, even I am configuring on click. After that, it is asking a callback function. This is a callback function. I am writing a callback function. Last session, we learned shorthand techniques. We are writing a shorthand technique, a callback function. And what functionality it should do? Some alert or say some document.write. So we say record what inserted. Like this, we are defined. Here, so many points are there. Suppose when I click on that, then it should display that. So here, what is the function here is you can see this is the container. Open the container, you see button. And go to the here. You have to learn. Then we can write those event names and define. Actually, this event name is what? On click. We are defining like a string type. That means string type event is defined. Then it should function for this button. First, you should know what is this event, what is its behavior, what are its event arguments. Then we can configure the functionality, right? I will show you. So in order to add events dynamically, first you should know different types of events. What are the events? I will show. Let's see. First, learn the events, then we can add, right? To add event, so we need an event listener. So here, event listener. First, various event listener requires events. dynamically. The JavaScript is following groups, following categories, into following categories. To write event listeners and events, you should know all the categories of events first. What are the categories? We have a lot of events like mouse events, keyboard events, button events. We have form events, touch events. We have element state events. We have timer events. We have clipboard events, So like this, there are different categories of events. Out of these, some events already we learned. Some of the events we already discussed. One small example I will show you for that point. We have mouse, keyboard, button, form, touch, all these things. So here, once you learn how to write these events, then you will learn how to dynamically put these events. So what are the mouse events we have? Generally, mouse related events we are having like on mouse over, on mouse out, on mouse down, on mouse up, on mouse move. These come under mouse events. The mouse related events define what actions to perform mouse is over, mouse up. Like that we can configure. So for example, their names itself tell what they are. So for example, already we saw them. If you remembered, we learned marquee. When we learned marquee, I showed you how to stop marquee, start marquee. That means, for example, so we are having the mouse events. See, we are having marquee. In the marquee, we are giving some title or some images, image source, public images, some A1 JPG, width and height. Similarly, we have some images. So 1, 2 .jpg, 3 .jpg, 4 .jpg. This we have. This scroll about 23. You see usually and on mouse over. On mouse over, this dot stop. This refers to current object. Current object is marquee. It have a method called stop. Similarly, on mouse out, this dot what? Start. We have to write the function. And you can see when mouse is over, it will stop. Again, it will resume. You can write CSS hover. With CSS hover, we can make it zoom in, zoom out. That means we can add extra CSS over and define that. For example, you see, suppose we are writing style. In that body, we have display flex, display so flex, justify content center, align items, align items as center, and we are using marquee. Marquee, I given padding as 100 pixel, and you see usually it will display like this. Now what we'll do is we will just write wherever image mouse is over, then we initially it is 100 na, height also 200 pixel. We will put box shadow, some 4 pixel, 4 pixel, and 2 pixel black. And you see, after that I will give transition 2 seconds. Then you see, when I move the mouse onto the image, it should display like that. It will zoom and display that. So on mouse over, they will be zooming and they will be displaying. That depends how you define. For example, marquee padding I given, every image have margin as a 50 pixel. Some gap between every image will come. And when mouse is over, it will display like this. I just kept in the center. The original size will be like this. On mouse over, you can display that. On mouse over, you can change the width and height. Actually, width and height is changing all the placement. That is the reason generally what CS animation people do is, instead of width and height, they say similarly, we have mouse down, mouse up. What is mouse down? Hold down the button. Up means release the button. You hold down the button, one will come, another will come, right? For example, you see here. Okay, let's change here. I am using an image, img src. It is having a dot slash public images and a1 and id as pic, and below put a paragraph. Hold down mouse button, just roughly I'm giving. Now on this image, we are writing on mouse down. Play AD2. On that document dot get element by id pick dot src, we will keep a different image, public dot images slash a2 dot jpg. Now another function, display ad1 document get element by id pick dot src is equal to dot dot slash public slash images slash a1 dot jpg. That means you see here, hold down the mouse button, I will move the mouse onto it and hold down the button and different image will come, and I release the button and it will display. That's your and image will release the mouse on one image mouse over another image. Mouse down is when you hold and when you release, right? And different actions on that usually done by using mouse event. This is another example. We have another example. Mouse move means while moving the mouse. For example, let's see, suppose I will create a image. Let's copy one image. I will copy some images here. We have public images. Okay, let's copy some picture. In my computer, I am having some flag. So it is a GIF file. GIF files are usually animated files. Flag GIF file is present. So what we are doing is, we are writing a div and style height of div below div image. Source is images flag dot and width is 50, height also 50. Now you open stage on which there is thing, because this is a 2000 height, and scroll down. Under that div there is an image at the bottom, right? Now what is the position of image? Position of image is somewhere bottom, right? That means this is the image id as what? Flag. Now what happens is, for body I will write on mouse move. On mouse move. On mouse move means while moving continuously. We will say animate. Animate is a function. We will write a script, and this animate function should know the mouse position, where they are moving. The mouse position it should know. How to send the mouse related information to this animate? Object related information you can send with this. Event related information you have to send by using event. By using event, you can send mouse related information, which we will collect here. So I will access the flag. Flag is document dot id flag. That is image. Flag will style position as absolute of no fixed position. In CSS, I told you position fixed. Remember, absolute position, fixed position. Fixed means it will keep fixed. Okay, where to fix? Flag style dot top. Top where the mouse top position, that means how to get the mouse top position means x-axis or y-axis position. That means this is actually the position. Suppose your mouse is here. Now what we have to do, our image is here. We have to get the mouse position and apply to image. So mouse y-axis position we have to get and apply to top. Mouse x-axis position we have to get and apply to left. So top is nothing but e dot client y plus px means pixel, because client y means it will return 100, 200, but in CSS it should be 100 pixels, 200 pixels, like that. Okay, what about flag style left position? E dot client x plus pixels. That means the current mouse position is collected and it is assigned to image. And see what will happen now. When I move, it should move along with that. You see, this is client X. Okay. And you can see now it will move along with it. That means the image position is along with the mouse position. We are accessing mouse position and we are applying to image. Be removed from its place by using fixed. After removing, where to display image? Left top, where exactly mouse is present. So we have to apply the styles to that. Then automatically it will move along with it. So these are all mouse related events. So important mouse events are these. Similarly, we have keyboard events. Keyboard events already we learned. You remembered string functions, on key up, on key down, on key press. I given some examples now. Verify password, verify username while typing. Already we discussed that while working with keyboard events. What are those events? On key up, we have on key down, we have on key press. These are related to keyboard. Keyboard related events already we discussed while working with string functions. So while learning string functions, I showed you start with, end with, right? So those you can do by using key up, key down, key press like options. That means, for example, I think JavaScript examples, string related lot of functions we learned, am I right? Lot of string related functions we learned. So here, these string related functions we written on here. We are using key up, key down I given you. Remember the verify password example I showed you. In this example already we used those key events. Password is poor, strong, one uppercase letter. This already we discussed, and this is under which events? Keyboard events. So such examples already I uploaded, but just here I will keep that again because already we discussed those events. Next important button events also we learned, but extra is that button events is nothing but on click, on DBL click, on context menu like this. These are button events. On click already we know. DBL click means double click. Context menu means right click. That means this is so single click, and this is double click, and this is click means width is 100, height is 100. Or we have some like realme.jpg. So width is 100, height is 200. Okay. We have an image like this. We have an image here. So width is 200 and 200. Now what we will do is just below it, I will put a message, double click click to view large. That means when they double click, it should open full window, full screen. Or we can put separate tab, separate window. Then what you can do is we can write a function on DBL click. DBL click means what? Double click. Double click, I will give here view image. Okay. We will write a function here, script and function view image, and it should open the image in a separate window. We have to use window.open method. This already showed you in links. While working with hyperlinks, we learned how to open link target in a new tab, how to open link target in a new window. For that, we have to use window.open. Which file to open? /public/images/realme.jpg. And what is the title? Some Realme. And what is the width and height? So I given width is equal to some 400 or 300, and height is equal to some 400. Now see what happens here. When I double click on it, it should open in a separate window. We can keep it open in a separate window. Like this it will do. Generally, we have seen single click, but now we have to double click. Then it will open in a separate window. That is double click. How we can manage double click? Just we have to write an event on DBL click. One more important question asked in interviews here. I will put a paragraph. Right click disabled. Now what we do is we write like this. We should write for entire document. Then we write document dot on context menu. On context menu means on document anywhere. When they right click, we will call a function. We will assign a function. What this function have to do is it should put an alert saying that right click not allowed. After that, we will just use return false. This is important. If any function is returned as false, that function will be disabled now. That means after showing alert, right click will be disabled. You can write on click return false, on cut return false, on copy return false. Then whenever they try to cut or copy or something, then it will not work. It will not work. That means right click is disabled now. You see here, if anybody tries to right click in this page, then it shows right click not allowed. And I click OK, then not working, right click not working. There is no chance right click will not work. This is very popular in interviews. They ask how to disable right click. Actually, they ask how to disable screenshots, but for that jQuery is required. So usually jQuery libraries and other features are used to disable such things. Usually here right click we can disable. Not only that, sometimes they ask how to disable selection. Because even you don't allow right click, they will select and they will use shortcuts like Control C, Control X. I don't want even selection also to work. Then we generally put another option. We will write another event, document dot on select start. On select start. On select start means dragging. While dragging function, we will just put return as false. That means we are not showing any message, we are simply disabling it. Then right click and the selection disabled. I will put that message. You see now anybody tries to right click, not working. Anybody tries to select, drag, it's not working. I am trying to click and drag, it's not working. That means user cannot select, user cannot right click. We can prevent. That you can do by using these events. There is one more event for what it is, on select start. This is nothing but, so hold down the button and drag to select. Hold on the button and drag. What is the point? So if the event you want the return false. How do we deal with the button events? Right. Next important, we have example. I will keep this. So in the events, one more important, we are having the events like already we learned element state events. Element state events. Element state events are nothing but we have seen on change. We have seen on blur. Remember the on blur. We have on focus. These comes under element state events. On change, on blur, on focus. Already we done examples on them. So we designed the EMI calculator. In EMI calculator, sliders are using on change. We learned shopping cart example. Their drop down is using on change. We learned string functions where we verified on blur. On blur means element loses the focus. When click inside, element gets the focus. These are all the events. Already in string functions and all we learned. So no need to repeat them because in string functions, the previous we were using on blur, am I right? We were using on blur, so on focus, on change. These are all the events we are using. Everywhere we are using those state events. On change we used in EMI calculator. When we designed an EMI calculator, there we have defined that. Actually, it is in Bootstrap examples, CSS. You see CSS, some Bootstrap example, EMI. Drop down is having an event called what? On change. On change. So already these events we used in various occasions. So that's easy. You can try them. Okay. Next we have another category. What is it? So we have clipboard events also. Clipboard events are nothing but we have on cut, on copy, on paste. These are clipboard events. On cut, on copy, on paste. These are clipboard related events. They are nothing but when user cut or copy anything, they can put status. We can put the status messages. Because you see on mobiles and anywhere, user will copy some code, then it shows a message copied, right? So that is done by using these events. These are actually clipboard events. Clipboard events are nothing but suppose we have text area. So we have text area, rows is some 4, calls is some 40, and I put a paragraph below. And here we are writing events. So on cut, and I'll say cut. On copy, copy. On copy is what? Copy. Suppose on paste is equal to what? Paste. These are the events we are having. So we just write a script function, cut. So document.query selector. We have query selector, paragraph, inner HTML. We say removed and copied to clipboard. Clipboard is nothing but temporary memory of Windows. The temporary memory of Windows is called clipboard. Similarly, copy. Copy, we will put a message saying that copy to clipboard. Similarly, we have another option. What is it? Paste. Paste, we will put inserted from clipboard. Inserted from clipboard. And you see now, here we type something, welcome to JavaScript something. And I select this and I cut it. Then it says removed and copied to clipboard. I inserted from clipboard. I will select and Control C, copy to clipboard. Because when you are using right click and doing, it's okay. But when we are using shortcuts, it has to show is it finished or not. So I say copy, copied, and I say Control V, it is inserted. These are all under the category of which events? Clipboard. So clipboard events means what are the activities to perform when user cut or copy or paste, right? We can display them. Timer events already we discussed, remembered? Timer events already we learned. What are it? Set timeout, clear timeout. We have set interval and another one clear interval. These also we discussed already. No need to explain. I showed you how to show the spinner loading images and all. These all comes under timer events. I told you debouncing and all. These are timer. Actually, there are touch events. We have like on touch start. We have like on touch end. We have like on touch move like this. These are nothing but these will not work everywhere. They can work only when you are using touch screens. When you are using touch screens, you will able to use them. These are learned by people who are learning mobile development. We can develop mobile applications using JavaScript. Using JavaScript, we can build mobile apps. But for that, we need extra frameworks. You have to learn some special frameworks. Like we have a framework called Cordova. Cordova Apache. Apache Cordova. This is Apache Cordova. This is a framework. We can build mobile apps with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. But you have to learn this framework separately. People learn Angular, React, and if they have to build mobile apps, then they need to learn some extra mobile framework. There, these touch events are helpful. These days, not only for mobile, even for general desktop, laptop, if they are using touch screen, we can provide touch functionality. Touch functionality, you cannot practice this on mouse. General desktops, it will not work. Only touch screens, it can work. Suppose I will show you here. We have an image. So public image SRs, public images. Suppose I have an image called AWS. Suppose AWS.jpg. And width is 200, height also 200. And this image will have an ID. ID is what? AWS. That is the ID. We will have another image. Suppose I am having another called some ASP, suppose UI.jpg. ID I give as what? UI. Now see what we will do is for these images, we will write an event on touch start. On touch start, suppose AWS is the function. On touch start, on touch start is equal to, I am giving another one is UI. UI is the function. And see what we are doing. We are writing the function. What it is? AWS. So I am defining document dot query selector paragraph inner HTML is equal to, so special offer, some special offer on cloud computing, something like this. Some I given 50% off like this. Similarly, function, we have UI. So here we are displaying, so inner HTML. So new UI, full stack development. So batch. So here we are defining, suppose, so with React, something like this we are defining. And see what happens now. When you run this, usually these are general images they have. I click on them, drag on them, nothing is working because they are touch events. I have to use only touch screen. You can't even practice if you don't have touch screen. Suppose I am using my touch screen, I touch on that, then it should get and display. That means with my touch screen, I touch on that, then I have to get that and display that information. So what is it? On touch start, it should get that and display. UI is what? So this function, we have to write on touch start spelling ch, that is. And you see when I touch this, it will get UI. When I touch this, this gets this. When user is touching, it is changing that information. Not only information, we can change its size. We can change its place. Generally, mobile development people have to learn these events in mobile frameworks, right? While developing mobile apps, touchscreen devices, they used to use these kind of events. These are all related to which events? These are all related to touch. Touch events. We can define by using touch events, right? Now, here you have one more category. Important is how to work with the form events. Form events that we'll see in the next session. So we have form events and we have another important storage in JavaScript. This is the main concept. That means local storage, session storage, like topic is present that we have to discuss in tomorrow's session. Right? With tomorrow's session, we finish all the part concept. So remember, we are discussing all the JavaScript course designed for Java developers and all. This is not a UI full stack, because in UI full stack, only JavaScript happens 2 months. Only JavaScript, 1.5 month, only JavaScript happens. There, so much we deal with JavaScript and all. Actually, this is the batch designed for Java.NET people to give them an idea on HTML and JavaScript. According to what syllabus they designed for you, we discussed only that, right? Actually, it's a very lengthy, so much will be there. In general UI, it will take a lot of time for us to deal with that. For you, what is necessary for your Java, that only we delivered. And these are enough for your future when you are going to learn Angular or React. These are enough, right? So tomorrow we will discuss about local storage and others. Then we will wrap this. That from tomorrow it will end. Okay. Tomorrow we will discuss the other concepts important what are there in JavaScript. Okay. Right. Yeah.